What up, players? It's War Boss Tay up in this mode. Today I'm going to show you how I painted up this little Nurgling. You can use this paint scheme for your Nurgling Chaos Demon models or for your Plague Bearers. I decided to start small, do a nice quick little tutorial, show you how easy it is to paint up something really simple, really fast, that looks pretty funny on the battlefield. So let's take a look at the different paints that we use. We're going to base coat with Death World Forest, and then wash with Agrax Earthshade, as well as BL Tan Green. And with their highlights, you're going to do Lauren Forest and Nurgling Green. And you're also going to add in a little bit of Cadian Flesh Tone for the more distended, stretched out parts. Rakarth Flesh for the teeth. For the horns, a little bit of Rhinox Hide, and then follow that by some Abaddon Black. Abaddon Black is also going to be used to dot the eyeballs, which we're going to paint in with Towelite Ochre and Aerial Yellow. Really shouldn't take you that long, especially if you are batch painting and doing a bunch of different ones at once. They're a lot of fun to paint. These little guys have so much character. They're sculpted so well. Look at that quadruple chin he's got, and his moobs. Look how just really fat his belly is. I love it. He's like pointing. He's like, this way to fun and excitement, everybody. He's so happy to be fighting. So happy to be in the material realm, away from Nurgle's palace. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I had a really good time painting this guy. Can't wait to do more. Latest players. Okay, let's get started painting up this Nurgling. Death World Forest. I'm using this one tiny little Nurgling accessory, but you can really do this color scheme for your whole. If you have the new Nurgling set, you could definitely use this on that. Oh, first things first, a lot of people who view me for the first time, view one of these videos for the first time, always ask, why didn't you prime your models, and you gotta prime your figures before you start painting. So I actually always prime my model first in Duplicolor Spray Primer. It's a matte flat gray, and it's actually a little bit darker than the Games Workshop plastics, but you can't really tell because I shine my desk light like right on it to get as good light as I can get. But don't worry, yes, always prime your models before you lay down paint. I was debating which figure to paint, either this guy or the the one mooning everybody, and I decided this one is a little bit cuter and it's easier to show all the different angles. Looks more dynamic than the guy just doing a handstand and mooning you. Plus, what do I always say about my channel, Igor? It's a family show, master. That's right. What are you chewing? What? Oh, just having some cat jerky. Family show, Igor. Okay, so I paused it for just a second to let it dry. Thank you, Igor. You're welcome, master. And I had Igor prepared me a peanut butter jelly sandwich with no cat in it. Now we're gonna shade this guy with BL Tan Green. Now there are 3 green shades in the new paint set. You've got BL Tan Green, you've got Coelia something shade, and you have Athonian skin shade or flesh tone or something like that. And it really doesn't matter. It just depends on, do you want your guy to be more cartoony green like this? The green is very deep, like a nice deep jade color, or do you want your guy to be kind of like sickly, realistically, what's a good word? It's the other shades are a little bit more brown in tone and have a little bit less vibrancy to the green. So this actually is going to end up making your guy look a little bit more goblin-y than Nurgling, which is why we let that set for just a second. Let it dry for just a second, and then we're going to get Agrak's Earthshade, and we're going to do a very thin glaze on top of the green. And by glaze, I just mean that we are not going to just slather our brown all over the place. We're going to paint into the folds. We're not going to cover the entire surface like we did with the green. Look at that. So now the browns are really coming alive and make our Nurgling look a lot more poopy. Oh, master. I think I'm gonna be sick. Don't throw up on the camera. I'm gonna throw up my cut jerky. No. Go outside. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry. I'm gonna go take care of Igor, and then we'll come back in just a second. Okay, now that we've given our little Nurgling here some time to dry, we're going to start painting in the teeth and the eyes. So, for the teeth, I have decided... I'm looking at the box art for the Nurgling teeth. Oh, they just look so gross. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna paint the teeth in with Rakarth Flesh. And don't worry if you get any on the inside of his mouth. There's no need to be precise or exact with this, because we're gonna give him a good dirty mouthwash in just a little bit. And now we are going to take some Tau Light Ochre. We're going to paint the eyes. If you look on the box art of the Nurglings and even of the Plague Bearers, some of them have red eyes, and that's, you know, I don't agree with that. I think Nurgle, you want to keep to the greens, the browns, and the yellows. And this light ochre is really nice color for that. Okay. After that has had just a second to dry, you're going to take Aerial Yellow, and we're going to paint the tip. So as a highlight, the reason I didn't go with the Aerial Yellow first is because we wanted to be a little bit of a highlight rather than just a bright blast of yellow color. Okay, now we're going to start highlighting the skin. I'm going to start with Lauren Forest, which is a nice pale green. Now when highlighting, you want to get most of the paint off of, when you put your brush in the paint, you want to get most of it off onto your wet palette, or onto your wrist, or somewhere like your napkin, so that you don't have too much on your brush. And then when you put the brush to the model, you have much more brush control, or paint control. it's not sopping off the tip. There are a lot of different color schemes you can go. I've seen some go more towards like brown, some more towards just like flesh color, but most Nurglings I see tend to be green. So that's why I'm doing this tutorial. I was reading through my old 1st edition Warhammer rulebook, which I'm still kind of debating whether or not to do a War Boss Tay unbooking for. But it talks about Nurgle's rot, and I don't really remember how it was depicted in later editions of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but in that first edition, kind of explains it in the back when you get to like disease and sickness, and it said after week 1, like all these things happen after like 6 or 7 weeks, and after the 8th week you die. But yeah, it says all this stuff happens, like you get all these boils and sores opening up all over your body, and then somewhere around week 3 or 4, your forehead pops out with a horn in the middle, and then both of your eyes kind of melt into one single eye in your forehead on week 5 or 6, and then it says on week 7, victim's face melts off, and I was like, oh, that is so gross. And then week 8, victim dies. So Nurgle's rot was not something you mess around with back in the day. I might have mentioned this before, but I started not as a war gamer, but I actually started with the role-playing game. And going back to that 1st edition rulebook really brings me back. Okay, next highlight we're gonna do with Nurgling Green, of course. This highlight is really nice and bright, so you want to just make sure that your brush is going to go where you want it to. And drop the paint where you want it to. Get a little bit closer, maybe. These are such great, cute little models. I might do a tutorial on a plague bearer, if that's something people might want to see. So let me know. They're mostly the same colors, so I might, if I do a plague bearer, I might do a different color scheme that's not green, because I would probably just paint my plague bearer in the same color scheme as these Nurglings. And if you'll notice, I'm painting the claws kind of brightly, just to give it some kind of little focus for the eye, something for the eye to focus on. There we go. Now for his stomach, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit of a flesh mix. So I'm going to use Nurgling Green and, oh, not that one, Nurgling Green and Cadian Flesh Tone. I'm going to mix them up on my on my wet palette. This is also what I would do for the guy's booty butt cheeks, for that guy that's standing on his head. And I'm doing it for the belly because it's nice and stretched out. Just kind of painting near the center there. And then feathering out to the sides. You can do this with any part of your Nurgling. Maybe we'll do it a little bit on his booty butt cheeks back here. Yeah, Nurgle butt. It's a good thing I painted all those Savage Orc butts. A little bit for his back fat. All these little jelly rolls. There. I think that looks pretty good. Now, of course, you don't need to get all the way down there if you don't want to, but I think it looks pretty nice. So I'm going to take my Agrax Earthshade again and do a thin little glaze where all the fleshy bits meet the green bits. Just to tie the colors together. Pull the brown in as much as possible. Make all these dark green tones kind of blend together. Gross. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the horns. So we've got some Rhinox hide here. We're going to thin it down a little bit with water on our soft palette. Soft. Why do I keep saying soft palette? Because I just had a voice lesson for my singing. And talk about the soft palette. And then we're painting the horns. So we're thinning it down on our wet palette because we want to be able to not paint it on in big, thick clumps of paint. So as to keep some kind of semblance of transitional colors. It's going from green to brown. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit more to the tip. Oh, so hard without a cameraman. Igor, are you still throwing up cats? I'm sorry if you just missed all of that. I'm just painting it onto the horn like this. Going from the tip, working my way down to the base of the horn where it meets the skull. I don't know, do little Nurglings have skulls? They have big, just fleshy heaps of heads. Or foreheads. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add little tips of black to the tips of the horn. So get your Abaddon Black or your Chaos Black. Oh my gosh, I actually found some Abaddon Black. Thought I lost it. Just painting the tips of the horns. And there you have it, players. This color scheme can be used for your little Nurglings on the bases of your plague bearers. They could be used for the Nurgling figures. It's really up to you. Also, what you can do is add like a little pupil for the eyeball by putting a little dot of that Chaos Black or Abaddon Black right in the center. So I'm going to show you what it looks like if you don't do it, and if they just have a very milky, glazed over eyeball. And now we're going to add a little dot so we can see what he's looking at. That's pretty funny. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade. It's the only nice dark brown color we use, and we're going to paint in his little mouth. We're going to get it nice and juicy in there. Fill out his whole mouth so that it seeps in between all of the teeth and makes the teeth look nice and rotten. I like how he's kind of looking off to the side. I don't know if you can kind of see it in the camera here, but... So, there you have it, players. Thanks for watching this How to Paint the Nurgling video, and we'll see you in the next one.